Move over, RFK. This November, we've got a new throat goat, and apparently her headshots don't miss. Kamala Harris, or as we call her, Warhawk Tua, the half...
It's Blue. Make sure you like and subscribe and go follow me on my Twitch and my other YouTube channel. Those links are down below. Also my Patreon, where I have more content on there that I don't post here.
What do I care? She's not my mom. My mom's an 11-year-old kid in China with arthritis.
How do you know that?
Because she sewed a note in my leg that says she's never had a vegetable.
Come on, Ted, please, you gotta try.
Today I'm going to be reacting to Andrew Schulz roasting Kamala and Trump.
Biden is out and Kamala is in. The election went from drool runnings to cool runnings faster than a female cop can fumble her firearm. Move over, RFK. This November, we've got a new throat goat, and apparently her headshots don't miss. Kamala Harris, or as we...
Oh my... I mean, how many roasts were already in there? We're barely 15 seconds in, and he went for everybody. The headshots line he said throat. That was actually an insult to two people. RFK because of the throat thing and how he sounds. And then completely calling out Kamala Harris for... Oh, and the Secret Service diss with can fumble pulling out her gun faster than that. Yeah, that was also a diss.
We've got a new throat goat, and apparently her headshots don't miss. Kamala Harris, or as we call her, Warhawk Tua, the half-black, half-Indian parents met at a 7-Eleven robbery, is officially the Democratic nominee.
His background, I mean, this has to be rehearsed. He wrote it, someone else wrote it, has to be a little rehearsed. Oh, let me just make sure I say it right. And the guys in the room are still laughing, is my acknowledgement. I know that you've probably heard him say this in 1 or 2 takes, and they're just, geez, dang, wow, because he's not letting up. There's 4 different ways that he's having a double entendre of insulting more than one person at a time. Not only Kamala, but also he went for RFK. He hasn't really went for Trump yet, but kind of went for Biden, went for the Secret Service, and just making fun of everybody with really funny ways of doing it. So it is comedy, and it's really quick-witted too, because again, we're not even 30 seconds in, and he's already said a lot.
Warhawk Tua, the half-black, half-Indian parents met at a 7-Eleven robbery, is officially the Democratic nominee. Surely the Dems, the party that calls Trump the end of democracy, surely they allowed the voters to choose Kamala, right? What? No? Wait, there's no right to choose? Guys, this is a presidential election, not a woman's body in Oklahoma. Now, I don't want to see...
I like that with that line on its own, you're kind of making fun of Republicans because it's clearly just pointing out, oh yeah, less rights than a woman in Oklahoma for her own body. That's a dig at Republicans. But then it's also still driving home the point of making fun of the Democrats for the fact that you're not letting people re-choose because it's clearly a different candidate. You're kind of just saying, no, we're just going to put this person in their place, and all of the votes, I guess, go to them now. So it's making fun of both parties with that one clever line.
Guys, this is a presidential election, not a woman's body in Oklahoma. Now, I don't want to seem like a flat-earthing, dinosaur-denying, believe-all-women conspiracy theorist, but it kind of feels like the Democrats dragged Biden's lifeless corpse through the campaign long enough to avoid a primary so they could place whoever they wanted as the nominee. And that's about as democratic as North Korea's Got Talent. Sidebar, last year's winner, Ching Chong Chestnut, ate 46 rats.
Well, I don't normally get this political, but just basing off of what he's making fun of, it's a funny comparison to hear something that rings in your ear as harsh as a comparison to North Korea, but what he's saying is it feels like somebody just dragged him right across the finish line just so you could put someone in their place and justify it by saying, well, technically this person's a replacement for them, so it's justifiable because everybody would have wanted them anyways. You voted for him, they're the same person, he has to be replaced, let's not waste time, let's just keep going forward. And now it just feels like a setup. Like, well, if they're gonna back out now and you're gonna do it now, that makes it seem like you knew a week ago, a month ago, a year ago that this person wasn't fit and wouldn't have been fit and wouldn't have actually made it. So now it feels like a scam. You got everybody to vote for this face just so you can replace it with somebody else and justify, oh no, now they're ready to retire.
What I'm saying is they used a vegetable to install a plant. And honestly, we would have been happier with a fruit. But the reality is it doesn't matter.
And I could see how this is really insulting and would make a lot of people upset. But he's being really clever, so it's funny. And he's kind of coming for everybody. Even if he's very clearly heavily focused on one topic, he's throwing a few jabs in there just to maybe make everyone happy. And I like his play on words with the fruit, plant, and vegetable.
Honestly, we would have been happier with a fruit. But the reality is it doesn't matter. Last week, Trump became invincible. Literally. He was leading before and now he's #1 with a bullet. At this point, if the Dems wanted to beat Thrifty Cent, they'd have to run George Washington. And Kamala could work for him. Paid.
Paid that's a really put an emphasis on that. Also, I like the Thrifty Cent line because everybody's been giving Mini Men and 50 Cent, and there's just a lot of relation ever since that happened to Trump on the media. And so he kind of made his own reference to it because I haven't actually heard the line Thrifty Cent of just a knockoff of 50 Cent and Mini Men and surviving gunshots.
Paid. Now, why is Trump invincible? Because he has the power of Hulkamania, obviously, brother, with a hard R. And also because this pimple-lipped, pug-faced incel, we'll call him a trench bulldog, tried to make Trump's brain public domain.
Tried to make Trump's brain public domain. I almost feel like it sounds as if I'm breaking down a rap because he's just being clever and funny and now rhyming.
Fortunately, even a bullet couldn't make Donald open-minded. Now, getting a shot off at the president must be an incredibly difficult thing to accomplish. I mean, not as difficult as finding binoculars to fit his eyes. Jesus, he looks like the sloth from Ice Age, but he must...
I mean, I really like the Sid line. I've just technically heard a lot of people say that about anybody whose eyes is slightly slanted, slightly far apart. Everybody always goes for Sid the sloth from Ice Age. It's still really funny because who really cares about the sensitivity of, oh, that's mean? No one cares. But it's still a really funny line and really good. And it's interesting that it's actually, even though it's funny, not his best in here because technically I've heard it before. And that's compared to all of the other stuff that's like, oh, that's clever. Oh, I haven't heard that yet.
Jesus, he looks like the sloth from Ice Age, but he must have designed a pretty ingenious plot to circumvent the Secret Service and the...
Oh, no.
Oh, what's that? Wait, you're saying that Herbie Potter was just walking around with a loaded gun like he was on an Alec Baldwin set? He was carrying a fucking ladder and a rangefinder? He propped it up on a building that had cops in it, positioned himself on the roof with a perfect sight line to the president, and no one did anything?
Not as much to say here other than the fact that he's just kind of taking a pause to have a realistic moment in this entire skit to actually call out and say, how shocking and ridiculous does it sound that this person walked over to a building with police officers in it, was able to get on the building and have a clear line of sight to the president's face, not that far away, that clearly bullets could reach. I mean, people who aren't professionals have gotten up on there and tested it and made, I think, what was the number? 14 out of 17 shots or something ridiculous like that. And so good thing he was just a loser and couldn't aim.
And no one did anything? This Mickey Mouse security detail was so goofy it made Donald duck. Oh boy.
That's so
Who's in charge of the Secret Service? A lady? Wait, what? Seriously? Well, of course she didn't have anyone on top of the building. Women only care about shots on a roof when there's a pool party. Now, I don't want to seem...
Oh, it hurts. But honestly, it's fair because coming for the representation of this is so embarrassing that there's so many woman jokes now because this person was so incompetent, and it has to make a lot of other people just annoyed too because even me as a girl, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, all of the women jokes that are gonna happen now because she happened to be incompetent. It could have just been anybody else or a man. It's such a shame now. Like I honestly would think that a lot of people are disappointed, even women, because now look at how terrible we look and how incompetent we look now.
Well, of course she didn't have anyone on top of the building. Women only care about shots on a roof when there's a pool party. Now, I don't want to seem like a Bigfoot tracking, moon landing denying Jews don't control the weather conspiracy theorist. But
I even feel worried and ashamed of, oh gosh, this makes women look so bad. Everyone's gonna blame on it. Oh, it's because she's a woman. It's like, no, maybe it's just an insider person or anything else. Please don't blame it on being a woman or a female. Also, I'm clearly pausing here too because of all of the crazy conspiracy theories that he's shouting out, but the one with Jewish people don't control the weather was one of his crazy conspiracy theories. So all of them were weird ones, and then him saying, oh, and then like Jewish people not controlling the weather, like how that would be the conspiracy theory of them not being able to control their weather.
Control the weather conspiracy theorist, but it doesn't exactly feel like a 20-year-old fetal alcohol face McLovin should be able to infiltrate the most advanced security detail in history. I mean, the only other thing he's penetrated was his palm. Did Kim Cheadle hire Epstein's NyQuil Night Watch? What?
Did she hire Epstein's NyQuil Night Watch?
The only other thing he's penetrated was his palm. Did Kim Cheadle hire Epstein's NyQuil Night Watch? Oh. What the fuck is going on here? This just doesn't feel right. And that's the problem. Nothing feels right. We have officially entered the post-truth age. We can't trust the media. We can't trust the government. We can't trust the pharmaceutical industry. We can't even trust the food we eat. So who can you trust? Me, your good friend Schulze. This episode has been brought to you by Pfizer. There is no promo code. There's nothing to fill out. They're already inside you.
Oh
but before we bitch...
But yeah, Pfizer. It's okay. No need to do anything or fill anything out. We're already inside you.
Giggity.
That's a clever line. I also like that he's emphasizing, if you really don't like the political tone that this very clearly has and is coming at you very directly with, a lot of it's also just kind of a blanket statement where everyone wants something from you and you can't trust anything, even down to your food that you eat. So it's kind of sad and relatable, even if you ignore the political tones that are all over this, because a lot of it's not about that and it's still really real. I also appreciate the fact that it is comedy, because a lot of this stuff is real, and if you just think about it by itself, it is kind of not a fun conversation and sad to think about if you think about it too long. But if you don't laugh, then you cry, so...
This episode has been brought to you by Pfizer.
Please
There's no
6 to 8
promo
years
code. There's
for
nothing to fill out. They're already inside you. But before we bitch, whine, and complain, just remember, like it or not, this is what we asked for. We wanted fast content that makes us feel good. We want politicians who lie to us. We want sugary food to fill us up and pills to slim us down. We don't want what's good for us. We want what's convenient. So we made our bed. Might as well get comfy. Sleep tight.
Honestly, it's just like I don't really watch Andrew Schulz very often. Honestly, my content of him has basically been everything that I've reacted to, so I can't really say I know him any better than what you've seen me watch on any of my channels. I don't think. Maybe like a clip here and there. But I think that he landed on a lot of good points. I don't usually comment on political things. I actually try to stay out of it and don't really share my opinion openly. But I do think that in here, given the circumstances, with both sides could probably be insulted by this, but at the same time also find a lot of things in here true and funny. Maybe even relatable. Like, yeah, we admit this. Or yes, that happened. Doesn't have to be taken too seriously. I think that he summed it up in a very funny way and really well, accurately, even if some things aren't agreeable to everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video for what it was, and thank you again for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe and go check out all of my links, including my Twitch and my Patreon, and I'll see you all next time.